You cannot discover a place that already has people living there. To the guy who said Africa was discovered by Europeans, let me teach you something. You don't discover a place where millions of people already lived, traded, built kingdoms, and developed complex systems long before Europeans touched African soil. When Vasco da Gama arrived in 1497, he didn't find wilderness. He found cities. He found the Swahili coast, Kilwa, Mombasa, Mapungubwe, civilizations trading with India and China centuries earlier. Only thing Europe discovered was its own greed. You didn't discover Africa. You invaded it. You renamed it. You redrew the borders. You enslaved and colonized. That doesn't sound like discovery. It sounds like theft. Why do we still believe this lie? Because history is taught from the perspective of the thief, not the victim. And that is why your textbooks lie. You cannot discover.
Have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed by that ugly white regime. We have favorites. Our loyalty is not to South Africa, it's to South Africans. And the South Africans are majority black, and they are being excoriated. It is not to some stupid puppet government over there. It is not to the Afrikaners regime. We have no loyalty to them. We have no loyalty to South Africa, to South Africans. Damn it, we have.
I do know in South Africa, white people don't have it as good as white people have it in America. South Africa is probably the one place in Africa that was able to switch the table, where the white folks live in the hood and the black people are living good.
South Africa's changing social dynamic is not good for everyone. These Afrikaners, who enjoyed social and economic privilege during apartheid, are now near the bottom of the pile.
This is why Elon Musk is fighting for those white folks in South Africa now.
Elon Musk has once again accused the South African government of racial discrimination. Musk accused the South African government of, quote, promoting white genocide in South Africa.
They're fighting for equality in Africa.
Yes, white folks are fighting for equality in Africa. But guess what?
Wow.
Because blacks were the majority.
Well, that makes
and
sense.
Guess what? In South Africa, they've united. So they can't run that on them niggas. Now, if all the other countries do that, we good. We will be the superpower of the universe. I do know in South
We'll write the rules out.
Donald Trump froze aid to South Africa because he said the government was seizing land from the white class in the country. He wanted to punish South Africa. However, this white class is only 8% of the South African population, but owns nearly 75% of private land, and Trump wants the South African government to let it be that way. He sent a message that other African countries should do the same. However, Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso has openly defied Trump's orders. Not only did he ignore Trump, but he announced joining forces with South Africa and reclaiming land from Western companies who extract precious metals worth hundreds of billions of dollars. With the stroke of a pen, he issued an order that has not become a headache for the Western mining and farming companies in Burkina Faso. So, how does Traore's order change everything in Burkina Faso for the exploitative Western companies, and how everyone, including the West, is shocked because Ibrahim Traore did in minutes what South Africa took decades to do? Donald Trump.
Welcome. Welcome to the United States of America. We respect what you have had to deal with these last few years. We respect the long tradition of your people and what you have accomplished over the years. Welcome.
Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees. You are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe, because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone.
If you're wondering where all these South Africans are gonna go, don't worry. They already had a plan in place. And it was called Acre Trader. That's right. They already took the farmland from farmers who were failing. As a matter of fact, they have about 40,000 acres of farmland that they took from American farmers because they wouldn't give them subsidies. Acre Trader is an American real estate investment company that specializes in farmland. It says here that the company aims to increase investor access to real estate assets and provides capitals to farmers and growers to expand their business. But what they failed to leave out here is that the first investor into Acre Trader was none other than J.D. Vance. You know J.D. Vance, the one who was in charge of the White House with the president who is cutting all the subsidies to the farmers? Yeah, that J.D. Vance. And what they also failed to mention is the fact that the people who were investing, yeah, they were South Africaners. And guess who just came to America to go on these farms? That's right, you guessed it. Are you sick of it yet? Are you sick of it yet? $880 billion being pulled from Medicaid so they can fund tax money going to the rich. Your farmland being taken away from American farmers and being given to South African refugees. People being human trafficked all over the United States and outside of this country for financial gain. Minimum wage is $7.25. Hasn't been raised since 2009. You can't afford healthcare. You can't afford your car insurance. You're probably not going to be able to buy a home anytime soon. And grocery prices are through the roof. And guess who's going to own your food now? The People's Sick Day is coming. It's going to be a 1 to 3 day collection of people who are going to take back their power by setting down. No more showing up for work when you're making peanuts and they're giving away your farmland to foreigners. You better join us, because unless we stand up, none of us are going to win this fight.